Now stop editorializing and tighten it up. You're losing your objectivity. What the hell are you doing in my office?
Gabrielle, I'm trying to get you acquitted, but I need your help.
John, I agreed to plead temporary insanity. What more can I do?
Well, Herb's getting ready to put Michael on the stand. Is there anything about your relationship that I should know? Gabrielle?
What?
Would you please pay attention to me? Herb's going to pull out all the stops up there. He's going to try and decimate you. Michael would like nothing more than to see that happen.
I am perfectly aware of how Michael feels about
Fine, then help me. Look, I don't want any surprises. If there's anything that Michael has on you, I want to know about it. And likewise, if there's anything that we can use to discredit him, I want to know about that too.
Well, Kelly said that she would go to the restaurant supply shop after she got back with Al. You know, maybe I'll tell her to pick up some new cups. These are looking kind of shabby. Too bad Andy didn't break any of the things that we didn't like.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said, should I put cups on the list?
Okay.
Thinking about Gabrielle, aren't you?
Sorry.
Is that where you were yesterday? Did you go see her?
Yeah. I thought she should know about the subpoena.
How'd she react?
She was so depressed from the courtroom hearing, I couldn't bring myself to tell her. Well, I gave her Al's drawing. That cheered her up, got her to smile.
Well, I'm sure she'll pull herself out of her dark mood pretty soon. I mean, you've certainly done everything that you can to support her.
Oh, Megan, if you're gonna
Look,
do
I'm
anything...
not objecting to your helping her. I really am not. I just wish that you would do something for yourself right now. I have the perfect solution. And it's not totally unselfish because it involves me as well. And I think it's something that would make a difference to our lives. A big difference.
Here's what you do when you don't find the rainbows in this time. Here's where you go when it looks like the rain won't end. Don't cry.
Carrie's not coming to Landview for Sarah's wedding?
Well, she's at a spiritual retreat. If Sarah had told her about her plans earlier, then she would have rearranged her schedule so she could be here.
She's Sarah's mother, for crying out loud.
Well, she'll be there in spirit, Max. And Viki is practically Sarah's surrogate mother, and she'll be there in person. What do you think of Carrie's present to Sarah?
2 days at an awareness age center?
Yeah. The invitation's for 4. Sarah and Beau invited us to go along if we wanted to. I think it'd be a great idea. Don't you? And I think, plus, after the trial, you're going to need a little rest and relaxation. It'll give us some time to be together, and I'm sure Kelly wouldn't mind taking care of Al.
Megan, hold on just a second here. Look, you're making plans for next week. I can't even make up my mind what I'm going to do today.
Well, you're going to be in court. You were subpoenaed to testify, remember?
That doesn't mean I'm going to do it.
Max.
But even if I decide either way, it doesn't matter, because I'm not going off to some new age center. I can tell you that right now. At least not until the trial's over. Maybe you should go with Beau and Sarah. You'd have a good time, relax.
Yeah, well, it's for couples.
I'm sorry, I can't leave her now.
Yeah, I understand. I know it was a dumb idea.
No, Sweetheart, it was not a dumb idea. It was a terrific idea. And as soon as this trial is over, we should go away together.
Yeah, sure, Max, sure. If you're not in jail, which is where you will probably be if you don't honor this subpoena.
Look, Herb knows how I feel about testifying against Gabrielle. I don't think he's going to throw me in jail.
Herb wants to win this trial, Max. He's counting on your testimony, I'm sure, to score a few points.
Yeah, which is exactly why I don't want to do it.
Well, then you're just going to have to outwit him somehow. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that once John questions you, you can make up for any damage that you caused.
And what if I can't?
You know, it's one thing to try and lighten up Gabrielle's mood, but it's really another to go to jail for her. I mean, I think that you're taking your responsibilities a little bit too far right now. You have a son to take care of, Max, who needs you and depends on you.
Megan, we've been through all this before.
Yeah, well,
Please,
obviously we need to go through this one more time. Where are you going?
I'm going out for a walk. I need time to think.
Debra. Hi. I've missed you so much at the gym, and then when I saw you on television last night leaving the courtroom, I said to myself, it looks like Debra could use a friend right now.
Oh, Marilyn, I'm so glad that you could come.
So how's Gabrielle holding up?
Well, she's more positive today, even confident. I don't know what prompted this change, but it's a good sign.
Gabrielle, this is no time to withhold information from me. Now, your future's on the line. If you have some information that I can nail Michael with, tell me.
He would just deny it.
Maybe that won't matter. Maybe the jury will see what kind of man he really is.
I don't have any proof. It would be my word against his.
Maybe, maybe not. Now, please, just give me the information and let me decide.
John, I can't. All right, I've hurt Michael enough. I've also hurt too many other people as well.
You sure you want to go through this another day?
I just want to hear Michael's testimony, okay?
You'd be better off not hearing it at all. I got a feeling it's going to turn very ugly. Let me sit down.
Gabrielle, do you realize that Michael's become a professional victim here? He knows how to play to the jury. He knows how to plead for their sympathies. You saw that look yesterday. It's called hatred. There's nothing you can do to change it.
Then I don't need to reinforce it, do I?
Now, you need to reinforce your defense. That's what we need to do.
I don't care. I'm not going to embarrass and humiliate that man just to get some sympathy out of the jury. I won't do that to anyone, not even Michael. Where is Max? Is he coming or not?
I stopped by your office to pick up this file of Victoria's on centennial work. Your secretary said you were busy, so I just took these notes of Victoria's so I could coordinate a project she's working on with one I'm working on.
How'd you know where to find the notes?
Victoria told me.
Oh, you've spoken to her since she got back from Georgia?
Yes, I have.
On the telephone or in person?
Both.
Well, did she come into town or did you drive up to the cabin?
I was up at the cabin last night.
Did you call Viki or did Viki call you?
What difference does it make?
You're getting a big kick out of this, aren't you? And the fact that she refuses to speak to me.
I didn't know that.
Oh, I'll bet you didn't.
Well, if she does talk to you, I would suggest that you not question her the way you question me.
I don't need your suggestions. All I need is for you to get out of my life, Roger.
I don't like this situation any more than you. I made my position perfectly clear in Georgia, so I don't need you jumping to the wrong conclusion.
I really don't want to argue.
You have work to do, and I assume you do too.
Roger? How is Viki?
She seems fine.
She got any idea when she's going to be coming back from the mountains?
She didn't mention it, and I didn't ask. I only saw her about 15 or 20 minutes, and we talked about Centennial business the whole time. Any further questions?
No. No more questions.
No, please, please. Sarah's not here right now, though. She had an emergency come up at the center. I tried to call you. Nigel said you'd already left, so Renee, you made a wasted trip. I'm sorry. Sit down.
Oh, thanks. Sorry. It's all right, darling. I understand.
Well, yeah, but I know that Sarah really wants to talk to you. I hired a wedding consultant to help out. He's helping her with all the details of the ceremony and the reception and everything, but this wedding's really starting to put some pressure on her.
Pressure's getting to you, too, huh?
Me?
Huh?
It's not the wedding. I just got a call from Clint just before you got here, and he wants to see me down at the Banner. He's really upset.
Uh-oh.
Clint's really sure that Roger's trying to mess up his marriage. Sarah's really sure that her father is an honorable man, and I'm stuck right in the middle of all this.
Do you doubt that Roger's an honorable man?
Roger's in love with Viki, so it's got to be tough for him to walk away from it. And Clint, he sees this as proof that Roger's trying to meddle in their lives.
So you're saying that you don't believe that Roger's an honorable man?
I'm saying that I think that Clint just might have a legitimate beef. And Sarah, she says that it's Clint's jealousy that's causing all the problems. So as hard as we try, Renee, there's no way that we can stay out of this.
Do you want some advice?
Yeah, sure.
Honey, I'd support Sarah. I mean, I know what the credo of this family is. The Buchanans stick together. But ultimately, the most important thing is your relationship with Sarah. I mean, you're going to spend the rest of your life together. She's going to bear your children. You expect loyalty from her. Don't you think she deserves some from you?
Yeah, of course she does.
And besides that, if Clint is stranded, he always has an ally in Asa.
Yeah, but Renee, he called me. He didn't call Pa.
Well, that doesn't mean that you don't listen to him. Besides, you'd probably be able to calm him down a lot better than Asa would.
Yeah, unless he asked me to take his side in this.
Well, then, I think you've got to be honest with him.
I think then that we all better take some cover under a desk because there's going to be one hell of a big explosion.
Hello? Anybody home?
Hi, Julia.
Oh, hello, Megan. I hope you don't think I'm barging in, but you did say it would be all right if I came to visit my grandson.
Oh, sure. He's upstairs with Kelly.
Oh, has Max left for the courtroom?
Actually, he went for a walk.
He went for... But the session will be starting soon.
Right, he knows the schedule of the trial.
It's very important that he's there for Gabrielle.
Actually, it's really important that he's there for himself as well.
I beg your pardon?
Nothing, really. Look, I'll get out for you, okay?
Oh, Megan, I wanted to say that I'm glad that you've taken my advice and you're not going to the courtroom every day.
Yeah. Look, I don't want to disappoint you, Julia, but I'm not staying away from the trial because you asked me to. Kelly is very busy doing errands for Max, and so I said that I would stay here with Al.
Well, that's very sweet of you. And it's very intelligent of you as well. The more time you spend with Max's son, the more he'll like that. Nothing brings a couple closer together than the bond of a small child.
Yeah, well, it worked for Gabrielle.
Well, I hope it'll work for you, too.
Oh, so you're rooting for me and Max now, are you?
Well, of course I am. I'm not surprised that Max has chosen to be with an actress. He's rather extravagant and flamboyant himself.
Well, certainly didn't stop you from asking him to support your daughter, did it?
No, it didn't. And I'm very, very glad for everything he's doing for Gabrielle right now during this difficult time, especially since she won't listen to me. But when it comes to the perfect couple, that's you and Max.
Well, we do have a lot in common, and I think that's probably why Max was able to make a commitment to me instead of to Gabrielle. Frankly, I think if she hadn't gotten pregnant, he wouldn't even give her the time of day.
I trust that your animosity to my daughter would never affect the way you treat my grandson.
Of course not. I would never do anything to hurt that child.
I'll get them for you.
Oh, Megan, do you think we could ask Al to call me Julia instead of Granny?
Yes, I think we could do that.
All rise. Be seated.
Hey, did I miss anything? Hi, no, the judge just came in. So, tell me, have you seen John in action yet?
Yeah, I saw him yesterday. He was terrific.
This court will come to order. Mr. Callison, you may call your first witness for the day.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth calls Michael Grant.
Michael Grant.
Tighten your seatbelt, Gabrielle. This could get rough.
Prepared for the worst.
Oh, I wish I were.
I do. Please be seated.
Mr. Grant, will you tell this court when you and Gabrielle Medina first became lovers?
Objection. The defendant's sex life is not on trial here.
Well, Your Honor, in previous testimony, there have been claims that the defendant switched the babies in the neonatal ICU in order to save Mr. Grant's life because she loved him. Therefore, the defendant's relationship to Mr. Grant is extremely relevant.
Overruled, Mr. Russell. Answer the question, Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, when did you and Gabrielle Medina become lovers?
You know, I did that to my bedroom wall once. Oh, Pa grounded me for a month, and I missed the rodeo because of it.
Hey, I heard you were in town. I was wondering when you were going to come by and see me.
Well, to tell you the truth, Clint, I've been building up my courage to come talk to you.
Courage? What courage? I thought we were pals.
Oh, we are. We're great pals. That's why I've been having so much trouble. You know, Pa told me never to take advantage of my friends, but I need a job real bad. I can work computers. I'll take out trash. I'll nail up pictures if you want me to. I'll do anything around here that needs being done.
Wait a minute. You're a bright young fella. You should have a scholarship to get through college. You shouldn't have to work your way through. Now, if you're a little late for this semester, I'll stake you. That way you can concentrate on your studies.
Thanks, but I'm going to put college off for a year so I can travel around the world. That's what I need the money for.
Oh, you wanted to travel the world, huh?
Well, you did it when you were younger than I am.
Yeah, that's right, I did. And it was a doggone nice experience, too. But, as a matter of fact, right about now, I wouldn't mind doing a little traveling myself.
Well, if you got an itch, scratch it. You know, you can pack up the family and leave any time you want to, can't you?
Well, it's a little more complicated than that. However, getting you a job here at the Banner is no problem at all. Couldn't be easier.
You mean it?
Yeah. Sure, the Banner can always use a sharp young office boy.
That's great. That's great. Thanks, Clint.
Thank you.
And for my first job, I'll put that picture up for you. Is that straight? Wait. There. Is that straight?
Yeah. Yeah, you got a good eye. Thanks.
Good. I can get some spackling compound and fix that hole for you, too.
No. Map's covering it.
Hey, you know, I've been there. I know that place.
Absolutely no idea how this works. There must be a simple way.
You guys need some help?
I'm embarrassed to say I do.
Look at these trains. Pretty groovy, huh? You know how to do this, I'll bet, don't you?
Can you help me? That's it. That's the way they go along. Choo-choo, choo-choo. It's been so long since I played with small children.
Well, you know, it's just like riding a bike. You never forget. Or so they say. I suppose that Gabrielle and Debra had nannies and nurses, though, huh?
Yes, they had nannies, but I did a lot of the work myself. I've always loved babies. I'd like to have more, but never gotten around to it.
I'm sorry, but we're closed.
Yeah, I've seen you on Fraternity Row. You're terrific.
Right. I'm sorry. We are closed.
Megan, this is Glenn Morris. Glenn, this is Megan.
Oh, you know this man?
Yes, we're friends. We work together on the banner. He's a photographer. Come in. Now, Al, see that camera there? Do you think you can give a smile to that camera?
What's going on, Julia?
I just thought it'd be nice to have some pictures with my grandson.
Why?
Because I'm unashamedly proud of my grandson. And I want to have a picture for my desk, and I thought Gabrielle would like to have a picture, too. Come on, sit up on my knee.
Look, Julia.
Here we go. We'll have pictures like... Excuse me, dear. You're in the shot. Thank you. There we go.
Look, I'm going to give you 2 seconds to tell me what's going on here. Otherwise, I'm going to kick you and your photographer out of here.
We don't need the exact date, Mr. Grant.
Miss Medina and I had a brief affair that began approximately 1 year ago. It happened suddenly and ended just as quickly.
Did your affair with Miss Medina end when your wife, Alicia, arrived in Landview?
Yes.
Did you end the affair or did Miss Medina?
I did.
How did Miss Medina react?
She wasn't happy.
She caused you trouble, threatened to cause you trouble if you didn't continue seeing her?
Objection.
Overruled. Mr. Grant?
Not really. She accepted the inevitable.
She accepted. Mr. Grant, after your wife died, did you resume your affair with Miss Medina?
Objection, Your Honor. My client readily admits that she had an affair with Mr. Grant. Now, what is the sense in going through every sort of detail of their relationship?
Your Honor, may I respond?
Yes, but briefly, please, Mr. Callison.
Yes, of course. The Commonwealth intends to prove that Miss Medina is the kind of woman who can turn her feelings on or off when it suits her. That every action she has taken, including the baby switch, has been calculated.
Your Honor, he's giving a summation to the jury.
Well, I think he's just answering your point, Mr. Russell.
He hasn't proved a thing.
Well, let's give him a chance, shall we? Objection overruled. Don't disappoint me, Mr. Callison.
I'll try not to, Your Honor. In fact, my next question will prove my contention, even to a skeptical defense, that Miss Medina was in full control of her emotions at every step that she planned.
May we hear the question, please?
By all means. Mr. Callison, we don't have all day.
Yes, of course. All right, Mr. Grant, if you'd been told immediately that your son had died, would you have married Gabrielle Medina?
1870. This map is over 100 years old.
I know that. That's Buchanan City.
You know, I should have recognized the place from everything you told me about it. It's called Old Arizona now.
Old Arizona?
Yeah.
That's where Michael Grand was hiding out with your sister's baby.
Yep, that's how I know so much about it. You ought to go out and see it. I mean, somebody put a lot of money into fixing that place up. You'd be amazed.
Well, maybe one day I'll have to make the trip.
Hey, if you need company, let me know, because there's nothing I like more than riding out on that range.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were so busy.
Oh, Bo. Say hello to Tyler McGillis, Brenda's brother.
Oh, wow. Nice to meet you. I'm Clint's brother.
He's told me a lot about you.
Really? Good stuff, I hope.
The best. Kind of makes me sad that I don't have a brother that I can depend on, the way Clint says you two do. I mean, don't get me wrong, Brenda's great and everything, but a brother.
Well, you're going to have a nephew that's going to need a pal.
Yeah, I guess I will.
Yeah, take this to the personnel manager. That's an authorization for you to start work tomorrow.
Great. Thanks, Clint. I'm much obliged.
That's what friends are for. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks. It's nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice meeting you, too. Seems like a nice kid.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. He reminded me of something that I think I probably have been taking for granted.
Really? What's that?
That it's really nice to have a brother that you can always count on, no matter what.
I just thought that since I was here, it would be nice to have some photos for the banner.
Why?
To help get some sympathy for Gabrielle.
Oh, I see. Poor mother fights to stay out of jail for the sake of her child whom she hasn't seen in a few weeks. Is that it?
Something like that. Is that so terrible?
It's just that I don't like to be used, Julia, and I don't like Al being used either.
I'm sorry. I should have been honest about it. I thought of asking Max, but I thought it'd be too much trouble for him, and I thought if I asked you, you'd turn me down. I'm just trying to do whatever I can for Gabrielle, right?
This is the exact reason that your daughter is in trouble. Now, if she had been up front with Michael Grand to begin with... I'm sorry, it's just...
No, you're right.
If you just explained your reasons to me, I wouldn't have objected. I would have been happy to help. It's just this subterfuge that makes me angry.
Yes. Yes, I see. I'm quite ashamed of it. Would you please stop that? Thank you. I think that'll be all right. Perhaps you could go now.
Yeah, I got all the pictures I need. Oh, it's nice meeting you.
I promise I won't let the Banner have any of those pictures.
No, I'm sure that Clint wouldn't publish them anyway. You can try. I don't mind. Just please tell Max about it.
I will. Well, I'd like to have spent more time with Al, but I'm sure you want me to leave.
No, really, it's fine. Julia, please stay. Kelly's gonna be back soon, and I wouldn't mind going for a walk. So, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, no, that's fine. You go for your walk. We'll be all right here, won't we, Al?
Are you sure?
Oh, yes. I'm sure. Thank you.
Okay. Take care, Al. Be nice to Julia.
Well, let's see what we could do. What about going to the park and building a tunnel in a sandbox?
I think I can remember how to do that.
I am absolutely sure I would not have married Miss Medina if I had known that my son had died.
But you believe that your son was alive because Gabrielle Medina had switched your baby with Brenda McGillis's baby, is that true?
Yes.
All right. Why did you ask Miss Medina to marry you?
My son needed a... That is, the baby that I believed to be my son needed a loving mother.
Miss Medina was, in your opinion, a loving mother.
She certainly gave me that impression. Also the impression that she loved me. She made herself indispensable to us. But she didn't love either one of us. She only wanted my money. God knows I have been aware of her greed for a long time, but it never occurred to me that she would do something so inhuman, so cruel.
Mr. Grant, did you ever have the impression that Miss Medina was mentally unbalanced, on the edge, so to speak?
Never. She was always rational, always focused on her goal, marrying into my fortune.
Now, Miss Medina was the manager of the Landview Grand Hotel before your child was born, was she not?
Yes.
Did Miss Medina give up her job to take care of the baby?
No. No, she continued to manage the hotel. And to her credit, she did a fine job. She also continued to take care of the baby. And she did a fine job there, too, because it is a fact that she was at all times in total control. She was never insane. She was evil.
Objection, Your Honor. And Mr. Grand is not a psychiatrist. He's not qualified to judge my client's state of mind.
I'm going to overrule your objection, Mr.
Well,
Russell.
of course you are.
But I will advise Mr. Grand to control his temper.
My apologies, Your Honor. I find it very hard to keep my emotions in check when I am reminded of this woman's deception. She used me by kidnapping Brenda's son when not considering what damage it would do to the mother. And even when Brenda confronted her, she she has done lies.
Your Honor.
Mr. Grant. Thank you.
I will sustain your objection, Mr. Russell. I will also direct the jury to disregard Mr. Grand's last outburst. Please strike Mr. Grand's remarks from the record.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Callison, if you can control your witness, you may continue.
No further questions.
Your witness, Mr. Russell?
I don't know how the hell Viki and I got into this mess. I admit that a big part of it was my fault, but this has gotten out of hand. It's just gotten out of hand. She's never stayed away like this before.
Well, you've never accused her of sleeping with Roger Gordon before. Get in your car and drive up to the cabin.
Bo, she won't talk to me on the phone. I've called her. I have begged her to let me
to let me explain myself, to apologize for the things I said.
For knocking Roger on his butt.
Yes, that too. Half the time she hangs up on me. I know that if I just drove up there, she'd slam the door right in my face.
Well, she's mad as hell. So maybe she just needs a little time alone to work this thing out.
I can understand that. That's not a problem. The thing is, she isn't alone.
Why, does Kim drive the kids up there?
No, but Roger's been up there. He came in here this morning and borrowed some folders. He admitted that he had been up there. He'd seen her.
But that doesn't mean that there's anything going on between them.
Well, not an affair, maybe. But they've got a relationship that's beyond just a friendship. Now, any blind man can see that, Bo.
Yeah, but Roger is Megan's father, so that makes for one hell of a bond. Clint, you're gonna have to learn to deal with it.
Oh, what? And tell Roger that it's okay for him to run around calf-eyed, making eyes at my wife? No, thanks. I'd like to know just when the hell she's coming back down out of the mountains.
You want me to drive up there and talk to her?
No, I don't want you getting any more involved than you already are. Just upset Sarah. I feel terrible about hurting her yesterday, by the way, and I feel badly about getting you involved again today, but I needed somebody to talk to.
Well, listen, as long as you want to talk, I'm always there to listen to you. I just wish that I could come up with some kind of a solution that would leave everybody happy.
Yeah, I wish I could come up with what I should do next. Come to think of it, I know exactly what I should do next.
Mr. Grand, just how brief was your affair with Miss Medina? Was it a couple of days or a week?
Lasted several months.
I see. Did you have other affairs with other women while you were married?
Objection. Mr. Grant is not on trial. Mr. Callison, you raised the issue of Mr. Grant's infidelity. Having made your bed, so to speak, will allow Mr. Russell to continue. Objection overruled.
Mr. Grant, how many times did you commit adultery?
Only with Miss Medina. My wife and I were having difficulties at the time.
How many women do you know?
I beg your pardon?
Well, you have homes in both Europe and the States. You must run with a wide circle of friends.
Yes, I do.
Attractive and wealthy friends.
Yes?
Well, how many of those attractive, wealthy women would you say that you know? 100, 200, maybe more?
Probably more.
So you could have had affairs with any number of those women, isn't that true?
I loved my wife.
I'm sure you did. But you also loved Gabrielle Medina. That's why you decided to get involved with her, isn't that true? Mr. Grand.
I did care for her.
You cared very deeply for her, didn't you?
Maybe I did, until I discovered what kind of a woman she really is.
Yeah, well, all of these women, were any of them single or divorced or widowed?
Of course.
Well, now, Your Honor, I fail to see any value in these questions.
Mr. Russell, can you justify your line of questioning?
Well, Your Honor, Mr. Grand maintains that the only reason he proposed to the defendant was because he was looking for a mother for his son.
You're wondering where your mother is. She's
well,
babysitting.
All he wanted was a mother
Is
for
Max
his son.
there? No.
He didn't have to settle for the defendant. He could have had his choice of many attractive, wealthy women. No, I submit that the reason Mr. Grand proposed to Miss Medina was because she's a very caring, generous woman. And also because she was his wife's best friend. She helped deliver his son. And she tried to save his wife's life.
She took advantage of my grief.
Mr. Grand, do you remember the night that the babies were switched at the hospital?
Vaguely.
Gabrielle got out of her hospital bed to come to visit you at Grandview, did she not?
Yes.
To take advantage of your grief?
Yes.
No. No, she came because your assistant called. Said that he was concerned about you, that you had lost control and locked yourself in the library with a bottle of whiskey. Said you were drinking yourself into oblivion.
I had a few drinks.
And Gabrielle, despite her pain and injury, went there and tried to help you. But you said that you didn't want to live anymore, that you wanted to join your wife in death.
I was very upset.
In fact, you were almost over the edge. But Gabrielle managed to pull you back. She managed to convince you that you had to live for the sake of your son. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Yes. And then she went to the hospital ICU to visit your son, to say goodnight, to assure him that both he and his father would make it through the ordeal. And then he died. And she wasn't so sure that you would make it through okay, because your hold on reality was tenuous at best. And she thought that the death of your son might push you over the edge. And that's when she switched the babies. She switched the babies in order to try and save your life, Mr. Grant.
Save herself. She knew exactly what she was doing.
You were in no state of mind to judge my client's motive.
I know damn well that she was totally in control.
Well, the same way you were in control when you tried to strangle her with your bare hands, Mr. Grant.
That's fine. You be 2,000 miles away from Viki.
We're that far apart as it is. At least emotionally. As long as she stays up at the cabin, the madder I get. I don't want to take a chance of me doing something that I will regret for the rest of my life. No, I think me going to Arizona and getting back to my roots would be a good thing for me.
What about Viki?
I hope she misses me.
She may think that you don't care about settling your problems.
She doesn't seem to care about settling our problems. She's the one hiding out there in the damn mountain cabin.
Yeah, but when you went down to Georgia, you humiliated her, Clint.
You don't have to keep reminding me of that, Bo. I know I made a mistake. I don't want to make another mistake. Now, maybe if I just put a few miles between us and I do some soul searching on my part, maybe it'll straighten my thinking out.
Yeah, but what if she decides to come back and work on your marriage and then you won't even be here?
This is not like I'm leaving forever. Now, she loves me like she claims to. She'll love me when I come back.
Okay, fine. What about Roger? You go to Arizona, he's still gonna be here, hanging around. He's gonna be talking to her. Hell, he may decide to drive up and pay her a visit at the cabin.
If she really wants to see Roger more than she wants to see me, my staying here in town isn't gonna change that.
What about this, then? Why don't you just stay a few extra days before you take off? That way, if Viki comes to her senses and wants to come and sit down and work things out with you,
it ain't gonna happen. It just isn't gonna happen. I'm going out west. I'm going out west. Now, if she decides that she wants me to come back home, all she's got to do is pick up the telephone. I'll jump on the next plane. And you be sure and tell her that.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell her.
Besides, you know what Buster used to say, you know, that old fella that always worked for Pa?
Yeah.
Said if a man needs to find a little peace, go to the desert.
Yeah, well, the last time that you went to the desert, you damn near lost your life.
But I found my way back home, didn't I? And I'll bet you I'd do it again.
And when you learned that your son died, your mind snapped just like Gabrielle's did at the ICU. Only instead of switching babies to try and save a life, you tried to kill her.
No. Defense is badgering the witness.
I am not a killer, Your Honor.
Let's restore order here before we proceed, Mr. Callison. Thank you.
I am not on trial here, and I resent these accusations.
If you don't stop shouting, Mr. Grand, I'll hold you in contempt of court.
This woman will not be happy until
This is my last warning to you, Mr. Grand. One more word, and I will have you arrested. Mr. Russell.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there a basis for these questions, or is this just a tactic to upset the witness? Are
Your
you
Honor.
hoping to uncover something that will help your case?
Yes, Your Honor. If it please the court, I'd like to submit Defense Exhibit Number 2, a report written by Captain Rafe Garrettson, Lambview Police Department. Mr. Garrettson entered Grandview just moments after Mr. Grand left with Brenda McGillis's baby.
Mr. Callison, have you read this report from Captain Garrettson?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Bailiff, accept this.
Well, according to Captain Garrettson, Miss Medina was lying on the floor, unconscious when he entered. Also present were Brenda McGillis and Max Holden. Mr. Holden administered CPR because Miss Medina had stopped breathing. There were fingerprint marks all over her neck. Fingerprint marks caused by Mr. Grand's attempted strangulation.
Objected, counsel.
I also have the report from the medical examiner at the emergency room of the hospital showing in layman's term trauma to the neck due to strangulation.
Have you seen this medical report, Mr. Callison?
Yes, Your Honor, I have, but it does not prove that Mr. Grand caused the trauma to the neck. In point of fact, Miss Medina informed Captain Garrettson that a prowler had broken into the house. When she foiled his robbery attempt, he tried to strangle.
Well, she was simply trying to protect Mr. Grand. She thought that he had already suffered enough pain, and so therefore she didn't want to add attempted murder to the charge.
Come on, objection.
Mr. Russell, do you intend to call Miss Medina to the stand to defend, to support your accusation?
No, sir, I don't.
Well, then I will sustain Mr. Callison's objection. I will also instruct the jury to disregard the defense attorney's accusation. Please strike any mention of that from the record.
Yes, Your Honor.
We'll let you continue, Mr. Russell, but I would advise you to tread very carefully.
Well, I have no further questions, Your Honor. I think we made our point.
You may step down, Mr. Grant. Mr. Callison, you may call your next witness.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth calls Max Holden.
Max Holden?
John, did you know about this? Max is testifying for the prosecution.
Gabrielle, take it easy.
Did you inform the witness that you intended to call him?
Your Honor, the witness has been subpoenaed.
Issue a warrant for the arrest of Mr. Holden. This court is in recess.